Okay, so let's take a look here at this example, which we did in the previous video, where I want to find the cross product. So U cross V. But I'm going to take a different approach, right? Now, the one thing about the definition of it, it can be a bit confusing trying to memorize the subscripts of each one of those terms. So here's a much more not necessarily intuitive, but if you know how to calculate a 3x3 determinant, then this should be more straightforward, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up the cross product as a 3x3 matrix that I'm going to calculate the determinant, right? So the first row is going to be my three component vectors, I hat, j hat, and then k hat. Okay. All right. Now, my next row is going to be the first vector of my cross product, u. So it'll just be the components 5, 1, 2. And then the third row would be the components of v, -2, 0, and 1. Okay. And here I'm going to perform what we call the cofactor expansion. All right. So again, recall here that if we want to expand here for the excuse me, for the determinant, right, you can think of blocking out the expansion along that first row, right? So I'm going to expand along the I hat, the j hat, and the k hat, right? So I hat would be the vector that I'm multiplying, right? Or my constant when I'm thinking of the vector, right? So here, that'll be the R component that we're multiplying by, and then the 2x2 determinant that we calculate is this submatrix that's left here, the one that's not crossed out there. 1, 2, 0, 1. Okay. Okay. And then again, remember, we always alternate signs. So the next sign is minus, right? And as you remember, the formula did have that middle one to be minus. So now what we do here is, if I go with this color here, if I expand the cross J, then we again cross out J, and then the first row, right, which is fine here. So that'll be, so now what we have here is j hat, and then what's left is 5, 2, -2, 1. All right. Okay, and then again, back to alternating signs, right? So again, what we did here is, once we cross out the j, this submatrix here, and the first row we cross out, the submatrix is the components that are left, right? 5, 2, -2, 1. All right, and we do this one more time. Here, let's use, how about this green one here? So the last one, we cross out, again, the last column in the first row still, and then the submatrix is the one right here, right? So we have 5, 1, -2, 5, 1, -2, 0, and this will be k hat. And now let's perform the operations here, right? So here, again, these determinants, right? The 2x2s are always the easiest ones, right? Because you can go by the crosses, right? 1 times 1 is 1, minus 0. So we get 1 times I hat. And then minus here we get 5 minus -4, so plus 4 j hat. And then here 5 times 0 is 0. And then we're left with minus and -2, so we get plus 2 k. right? Again, each one of these are the 2 by 2 determinants. All right, and then simplifying here, we get 1 minus 9, 1i, excuse me, minus 9j plus 2k. All right, or we get 1, negative 9, 2, which was the exact same solution we got doing it the other way. So this is how to calculate a cross product using the determinant.